old before.
Live. Yeah, right. Well, we were talking about that Tubin's beat off sesh.
Yeah.
And Kevin evidently had a famous meat beater in his town who had to ditch town.
Yep.
Whoa.
If you want to tell that story again, right? Or Kevin.
Yeah, I don't know, Ryan, if you're familiar with Fishmasters.
I'm not. Fill me in.
Oh, it was just like a show that was on like public access.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I do know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. And so basically, what the fuck is this doing? Basically, the dude that was on that, one of his, like his wife was like a local news anchor, and basically he got caught like jerking it in a theater, and so they just like straight up skipped town. Like there wasn't really anything said, but she just disappeared off the local news, and then obviously he went with her. But yeah, there was like comics of Fishmasters and stuff like that. Like it was really funny. It's a fucked up but hilarious story.
That's so great. I'm waiting for like the article where all Tubin's colleagues come out and talk about their experience with watching him crank down.
Oh God. I'd never even heard of this guy. Like I'd seen the name here or there, but like
I had no clue who he was. Like I didn't even know he was like a political writer, which is what I thought was so funny. Like the story was so ridiculous, like it transcended politics for a brief moment. It's like, that's amazing. Dude caught jerking off during a work Zoom call.
Dude named Tubin. Like,
yeah, that's what I said.
Come on, man, this is a joke, right?
That's gotta be the new name for like getting caught jerking off on like a live stream. Like, yeah, he was Tubin. Like, it's too fucking good. And it's
insane. A bummer for the tubing industry, for those that like going tubing. Sorry, go on.
We need to come up with a new name, guys.
Yeah.
White River Tubing is never going to be the same.
God damn it.
Oh my God. Can I see what you're working on, Kevin?
I'm trying to figure out how to screen share with you.
What are we all doing up? That's a great question, Randy. It's like almost 2 a.m. for me. I got really drunk early on during the Zaid stream. Well, not during the Zaid stream tonight, but post Zaid stream, I was pretty rip-roaring. And had a great time over there with him and Jeff. Phil's always awesome.
Who were the other? Oh, it's the two brothers, huh?
Yeah, I realize I don't know his brother like at all. I don't think I've ever interacted with him, but like Phil and I have been like talking on Twitter forever, and I always see him in a bunch of different streams and shit. He's a rad dude, and we both share a passionate love of Bisley work. So I showed him the Lobo I got from when I got really bombed with Bisley, and
nice.
Talked about that a little bit with him, and then we went over the City of Rot stuff and struggled with his internet, but it was a good time.
I get all brother groups mixed up.
Oh, I'm the worst, man. My brain is scrambled eggs. Like if I'm not
there's
like
two of them, yeah, I'm like, that's too many. There's too many of you with too similar of a name, and you guys kind of look the same. I can't. I'm gonna forget one of you, so I'm just gonna choose one of you to be friends with, and I'm gonna hate the other one. So
if you're twins too, one of you has to smash the other one with a rock, or I can't be friends with either of you.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean that's fair rules with twins. I mean, come on.
My brain can't handle this.
Now, me and my brother are almost twins, but we're far enough in age that rule doesn't apply. It'd be almost like child abuse if I did that to him. So. But we seriously, it's like people always think we're twins.
Yeah, I'm like a clone of my older brother, but like originally our hair was reversed where I had a bunch of hair on top and couldn't grow a beard, and he just had a beard. And now I just look like him with a lot of hair. Like,
Did he have eyebrows at least, or just the beard?
Oh yeah, he has eyebrows too, like me.
Okay.
His eyebrows just aren't all fucking like cut up and crazy from getting his head bashed in. he's managed to keep his head bash free for the most part. What's going on, Razmaz? Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Razmaz?
I am all ripped up tonight. What is going on? Rusty's here too.
Shackleford?
Rusty
Good old
Dale.
Rusty Shackleford. I'm going to tweet out right now that we're keep entertaining the people as I tweet out that we are entertaining the people.
Tweet out that we're crying on stream. Yeah, it's like pretty feeling pretty loose in Frega's stream, just like saying crazy shit like, yo, we got 13 days left for this campaign. In 6 days, me and Jeff start selling our bodies. Like, I don't think anyone is seeing these messages.
Well, that's why I was coming up in the DM with that OnlyMans for you guys.
Yeah. That's what Kayla said the other day. She's like, you guys got to start an OnlyFans where you just, like, she was just suggesting tons of stuff. I think there's one, me just brushing my beard, drawing comics shirtless, which I was like, I feel like people would pay me to put my shirt back on.
You never know.
There was some other ones. Yeah, that's what she kept saying. She was like, there's a guy on OnlyFans. He makes so much fucking money and people just pay him to eat himself to death on OnlyFans.
Meanwhile, it's just her paying him.
Yeah.
She's like, she just wants you to do it. She's like, come on, do it, Spencer. I'm pretty sure there's at least one person out there that'll.
Yeah, that's Kayla's thing. Deep down, she just wants to watch me eat myself to death. It's a weird kink.
Yeah, I was having fun on the stream saying hippie shit that was
that threw me
annoying
off
Malin.
So can you only see... Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, that totally threw me off for a second, Kevin, because it was like, I only sent the link to 2 people, and then a 4th box popped up. I was like,
what is going on?
Holy shit, we're in a bad horror movie.
I've overtaken the stream.
Oh, guys, that's what we gotta do next. I'll get really drunk one night. I'll write a script for a Zoom horror movie.
God damn it.
That's what the world needs.
Dude.
And you need more projects, huh?
Yeah, there's been a couple of Zoom horror movies so far. Man, that signage. You know what though?
Big signage.
I don't know if it was intentional, but that little cloud spot looks like there's a penis in there. Up above the sign. Bingo.
There it is. There it is.
The old inverted dingus.
I mean, that stream had to come from somewhere.
Exactly.
That's not blood, folks.
I spent way too much time doing this, and I was like, "Oh, if you zoom out, you're not really going to be able to see that trash can that good." But whatever. Just go for it.
That's, I think, my hardest problem with digital thus far is I have like I think it's like the 9.4 inch or some shit iPad. It was like one of the first generations, and it's like not quite the little one, but not quite the big one. And I think they only did it for like 1 year. But I just cannot get used to like the scale transition from like drawing digitally to printing it out on like an 11x17. I just haven't done it enough, which is why I'm trying to start doing it like regularly and mess around on the iPad like daily now.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Cause yeah, my brain still can't like fathom that. And I'll do shit like that. Like I'll zoom in really far and draw a bunch of shit and zoom out, and it's like the size of like a like pencil lead. I'm like, motherfucker.
One way I've been trying to think of ways for people to practice that, and
what's up, Pedro?
Oh yeah, hey Pedro, what's up, brother?
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And one way I was thinking was because you're working in Procreate, not Clip Studio, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
recently got Clip Studio, but I have not touched. Jeff keeps trying to explain it to me, and it's like feels like real big brain stuff compared to the years I've been doing in Procreate.
Well, I just don't like it because the canvas moves like this.
Oh yeah, it's like weird
And
increments and shit.
Procreate, I can do whatever I want. It feels just like paper, and I cannot work in Clip Studio. So in Clip Studio, you can at least lock the page at actual size.
Yeah.
So you
The
have
only
that
thing
advantage.
I thought was good for that was Clip Studio would be really good for laying out panels if you already have it like you've actually done thumbnails traditionally or whatever. Laying out panels with that frame tool really quick is great because it's kind of the exact opposite of that new Adobe program that was announced today. It's like super intuitive and you can tweak things on the fly. And they sort of like each panel reacts to another panel however you set it, so they can like overlap or not overlap, and it always sets the gutter the exact amount of pixels you want it to be. And it works really good. But then from there, it was just like I would use that one tool and then I'd immediately be transporting that frame into fucking Procreate and just drawing it in Procreate.
Well, it does have amazing comic building tools that are way better for that than Procreate. So yeah, that's one way to do it. But I just meant that the canvas manipulation couldn't hang. I was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got great like ways to basically file your pages within your comic, and then like it's got these organization things that are really cool about it. And someone who has fun organizing, I think you would like that aspect of it too.
Pedro said that's not normal, Ryan, and to check your video card drivers. Now, it works fine for me on PC, but I think Ryan was just talking about iPad because that's how it is for me on iPad too. It's like all incremental.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a setting I can change because there's so much shit in Clip Studio that like it's taking me forever to even feel like comfortable just sketching in it.
The inking pen is great in it. The natural G pen that comes with it right out of the box is pretty good, actually. I was pretty impressed with that.
I mean, I got the Friendin brushes like forever ago, so I have like thousands of brushes for that damn application. I just can't wrap my fucking brain around it. So much. It's like Photoshop, but just for comics, and it's got like all these different features and shit that I'm just like, I just want to draw in you.
Kevin, do you do any digital? Are you all traditional?
He's drawing digital right in front of you.
Oh, I thought that was you.
Oh, you are flattering me tonight.
No, because I'm not watching because I thought you were doing
out there and kiss you.
I thought you were doing this whole thing. I'm sorry, and I forgot. Kevin already explained that like he zoomed in on the trash can and did that whole explanation just like 2 minutes ago about how he had drawn that. Yeah, I just brain farted there. Sorry, gents.
That's no big deal. So yes, I do work digitally.
Are you? And is this? Oh no, I see. That's Procreate. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I did this.
I have nothing.
Oh hell yeah!
Nothing disparaging about
Ryan. Did I show you that? The layout,
don't think he did.
Layout for our head pop.
That's a double page splash.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, as you can see right here.
I sat up drunk for like
there
an hour, like an hour harassing Kevin late at night. Was like, I'm gonna have to put like extra inches on either side of the page in the spine so you can see that thing still looking cool. It's like, I don't think he needs to know this, but I'm an idiot.
Here's a picture. I was telling my wife how we like when we moved into our new place, we needed a ping pong table. And our old roommate, Dylan, who we call Big D, was there. And then she's like, no, you guys aren't getting a fucking ping pong table. And I was like, think about it. In the garage, look, it looks something like this. And I very quickly drew her this. She was not amused.
I'm impressed.
Me and Big D.
But like Spencer, I'm stupid too. So, you know.
This is something that I was working on that was purely a joke.
Dude, I just want to write for everything you do.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, no. Dude,
he does this to me constantly, Ryan.
This story-
he'll show me something cool, and he's like, "It's stupid," and I'm like, "I love it. Let's make it a comic."
My buddy Curry was the one that came up with this, and he was like, basically he came up with like the whole story and everything, and it was like partly they like I think watched a movie or they were coming up with a story, and then he like dreamt that he told someone else the story, and so he's going off of like what he said in the dream, and then the dream it makes no sense. So yeah, he basically was like laughing because he's like, no one's gonna draw this, and then I was like, dude, I'll draw all of that. And this is another thing that I paneled out for him. So it's, you know, somewhere in the wasteland. And it's like war, and then basically the war little newspaper is supposed to like blow through the wind, and it blows closer to this building, and then a truck just explodes out of it. And then it's which I'm pretty sure is the name of a movie. I kept telling him it was the name of a movie, but he didn't care. He just wanted that to.
Randy said, Ryan and Spencer, are you guys worried about your Indiegogos when it comes to time? Trying not to be worried, but yeah, it's a struggle, but trying.
Is there a time when we're not worried?
Yeah, right. Trying to not lose my mind and get this thing funded. Hell yeah,
dude! I think I deleted that pen accidentally, like in a drunken rage or something. I don't know what happened. This is a guy that came into the liquor store one time.
I remember that.
Yeah, he said that to me. He said, "I'm gonna turn this hangover into a hang on," and I laughed real hard. Oops. Oh yeah, so Spencer, my meth head story. So I'm at work today, right? And I had been there for maybe about like a half hour, and I hear like yelling from like outside, and I'm like, that's not super unusual, but it's a little unusual. But it's like, rah! Like crazy, like screaming, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna look outside just to make sure that no one's like dying or dead. So I can't see like who's yelling, but I can kind of see like the reflection of another building that's across the street. It's like a guy like kind of down the street from us. And so I kind of like poke my head. I have to get in this like certain corner of the store to like look out the front window at an angle. And I can see this guy, and he's like, there's a big sign in the way for the business next to us, but he's like has a bike, and he's holding it like, you know, parallel with the ground, and he's like, rah, rah, like fucking attacking something. And I was like, oh, he's just like trying to murder someone with his bicycle. And again, it's really funny.
Good weapon.
People are driving by, people are like walking down the street, and just no one bats an eye at this. They're like, dude, totally normal. This guy is screaming loud enough that he's probably like a solid like 50 yards away from me, maybe more, but I could still hear him just yelling. So I'm like, oh, of course, maybe he's like fighting someone or whatever. He eventually just like stops, and then like gets on the bike and is still like, rah, like yelling, and then just like rides into traffic, and then just goes down the street and like disappears. And it was funny because then like when I finally, you know, there was like a lull and like the customers, I was like, who is he like fighting? So I kind of like walked out the sidewalk. There was no one there. It was just a bush.
Amazing.
Stupid bush.
Yeah. He was just so angry at that bush.
Wait, you never been mad at a bush, Kevin?
I got mad at a stake in the ground because I was really drunk one time, but I've never been that mad at a bush.
Oh man, I've been so mad I peed on a bush once.
I mean, I've peed on bushes, but not out of anger. It was pure
spite.
You guys the bush liked it.
yeah, the bush liked it.
Yeah, the bush paid him.
The good old days, huh?
The good old days.
Yeah, when a bush would pay you to piss on it.
What I wouldn't give to go back to those days, man. It's so easy. Let's go to a park, some basketball shorts.
Me and my wife always joke about that, about someone wearing really loose clothing and then just shitting, but not acknowledging it, just like keeping on, like just walking and going about their day. But clearly a turd falls out of their shorts or their dress.
That's your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Turd droppers.
It's like reverse upskirts. More legal. Way more legal.
Way more legal.
That's your tagline. It's like way more legal.
Warning, this might be way more legal than you're accustomed
Yeah.
to.
Are
Street
you
turd.
ready for something that's actually just gross and not that bad?
You ever wanted to watch something that makes you wonder why it was made throughout? Turd TV, Pedro's.
Us too. All
Hit
right.
it.
Pedro's in. We got our first subscriber.
God damn it.
Oh my god. Extreme.
Was
close-ups.
did this happen today, Kevin?
Yeah. That's this stuff-
Today's meth head story.
Yeah,
They're frequent. What was the guy who came in before? Cactus?
yeah, dude, Cactus. Cactus is fucking rad. Love that guy.
What's Cactus's story?
I don't really know, to be honest. All I know is that he was up until about like a week ago. He was living.
He was alive.
No, he was living in a in like a, what do you call it? Like the roll up doors, like storage spaces.
Oh yeah, like the monthly
like a storage unit.
Like a storage yard. Yeah, a storage
public
unit.
storage kind of place.
Yeah, so he was living in one of those, but then
We'll remove this for a second and we'll show
Yeah.
Ryan.
But basically the guy that runs the park found out that he was living there. So he basically had to like move out, but it was like really funny because then he's like, yeah, so I gotta move my RV. And then it's like, wait, you had a whole RV on what? So it wasn't just like a storage room.
It's in his pocket. It's a Hot Wheels RV.
Well, no, because then he's telling me, well, it could have been an RC car because he's like, I got to get this many batteries and I don't have the money for that. But then he's buying like a full bottle of just whiskey. It's like, well, maybe don't buy bottles of whiskey.
It's a man with
Hey,
priorities.
hey, the whiskey's in the budget, Kevin. The whiskey's in the budget.
Apparently.
Come on. There's always money for weed and whiskey,
But no gas for the RV.
but no gas for the RV.
Yeah.
You got to live in a cardboard or a cement. I mean, that's like a prison sentence when you have an RV. You're like, dude, go live in the RV. It's got a window, bro.
It's funny because when I was kind of like telling Gabby about like leaving my job and everything, and then she's like, yeah, like, you know, just make sure that you're doing stuff. And I was like, yeah, like I already figured out kind of like a budget. And then basically like the next day I came home with like a 24 pack of beer and she's like, you said you're gonna like stop drinking. I was like, I never said that. Like, why would I ever? I got like really offended. Which I didn't say. I just said that I was gonna start drinking like cheaper beer.
I'm drinking Natty Ice from now on.
Yeah.
It's more about compromises, not sacrifices.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, while we're looking close and we got the darkness on the brain, you want to look at a Joe Weems thing that's cool?
Hell yeah. Fuck.
Here, we'll start at the top.
Jeez.
Fuck.
And imagine whatever awe-inspiring music you like.
I love that Silvestri was like, biomechanical shit. That's a good idea for an ongoing comic book.
Look at this hand. And this is all Weems, by the way.
That's awesome.
It's fucking dope.
Look at this little burpy flame burst from this little darkness mouth in the ground. It's all bush bush. And it's casting light up under this guy's hand, which is mostly top lit.
It's bonkers
Joe
too,
Weems.
'cause I always thought of Weems as just like an inker.
Ah, look at that. Talk about tubing.
Right?
He was really
Aw.
tubing right there.
I feel like
Yeah.
this series and fucking Spawn was like where I learned to draw teeth.
Oh, totally.
I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, like teeth and spiky shit, I got it. And never learned anything else.
Do you really need anything else, though, to be honest?
I'm just gonna do a whole book of body horror.
I love this back arm on this guy here. The shadows there.
Oh yeah. He is like known more so for inking usually, right? I'm not like an insane person.
No, you're
no,
being
he's
insane.
yeah, you are like an insane person for sure. Yeah, Kevin's right. But most of his career, yeah, it's been like 98% as an inker, but he's like
That's like
top
fucking
notch
what is
illustrator.
that movie? Is it Deep Rising? Kevin,
Oh,
you know what I'm
maybe,
talking
yeah.
about. The fucking monsters in that movie.
Yes.
That one.
No, that was one you were talking about that I don't think I've ever seen.
I think it's Deep Rising. How the fuck have you not seen that? I think Treat Williams is in that.
We were talking about we talked about this last time. It's got the guy from fucking The Mummy in it. It's got Benny from The Mummy.
Benny.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you said you hadn't seen that.
O'Connell. Those are dope.
So this is more Joe Weems. When I started working with him, he was the Dark Star Skateboards illustrator.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I was like, those look like something for some reason, like weirdly familiar to me.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we this is the Mike Hasty and the guy Leah Mamalu. And one of the reasons he hired me as his assistant was because he saw my pencil portfolio and I had done a bunch of hand-drawn logos. So these I actually drew and designed and he inked them. And that was one of my first gigs for him was doing that. So that was pretty sweet, like coming in and him like kind of recognizing I could draw too, that I wasn't just an inker. So same with down here, I got to design these and he inked them.
Yeah, that's kick-ass.
Awesome.
I love that kind of that was like the shit I was doing in high school with my graphics teacher. Like I had a graphics teacher that was like super into the traditional end of things and was like, you're not allowed to start working in Photoshop until you understand like what all these tools were like before Photoshop existed, and that you can like prove you can apply that kind of stuff, and then you're allowed to go digital. And shit like
Dude,
this.
how high school is this? This is so
super
high
cool
school
to me. Oh, I love this
Like,
kind of stuff.
Like
that
so
was
I was
like
still in my
6 months.
20s, so it was. Go ahead, sorry.
So it was just like 6 months of my senior year was like that's like the third year I took graphics with that guy. Mr. Castelli was his name, and fucking like I spent half the year just drawing shit like this. Like I love just designing fonts and fucking around. That's rad though.
Yeah, so it was like the age I was at too, like still in my 20s. So like I was like still did this kind of stuff all the time, like just when you're noodling, you know, like it was just kind of what
Still
I did.
fresh.
Where now I would be like, I would overthink lightning letters. Like this took me like I did this in one night. And it got put on a skateboard internationally, where now I'd be like, okay, I need a few days to think about like this composition and the framing of it, and I would overthink everything. Where when I was
that
young,
works the best with skate shit too. Like I was already like way out of skating when I was working at fucking Zoomies in the mall out of high school. And fucking like we just had stacks and stacks of decks that were like these really clean, pristine designs that looked like they were done in like Illustrator or Photoshop, that were just like vector art bullshit. And we just have them sitting around forever. But all the like hand drawn, weird, grimy shit that looked really old school was always the first shit to go.
Because that was the coolest.
Yeah.
I'll be back 1 sec.
Yeah, I thought you'd dig these. I found them a while ago, and I don't know. I have all this cool
Looks
stuff.
like a satanic Chicago Bulls logo.
Oh, it kind of does. Worship your bulls, citizens.
Heavy metal Chicago Bulls.
Dun 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 dun. But yeah, dude, he's such a badass artist.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think I have
what's he like thousands of dollars a page now?
For pencil, like if you were to hire him, here, I'm gonna pull back so you can see the whole thing.
God,
if you were to hire him to do this, he would easily charge probably 1,000 or 2.
Right? Like, you heard it, guys. Hit up Joe.
Probably 3.
Dude, I'd be like, suck my dick. It's gonna be $4,000, motherfucker. Like,
I mean, look at that's just the background elements.
Yeah, I gotta think about this one little tendril for like 4 days. Like, you're gonna put my kid through college for this piece.
So right here, the white is the white of the paper. Yeah.
That's fucking bonkers.
So he goes in, and this is all nib
marker or anything. That's fucking
straight up 102 nib. For probably 99% of this was
suck
nib.
My dongle.
Even the hair, yeah. Like I would have gone in with brush and everything, like, but
dude. I would have like, even if I printed out this exact inked version of it to trace over, I'd mess up a line and put a gun in my mouth. Like, I couldn't imagine doing this in like the first time.
Oops, I don't want to use that. I'm going to use something that can't mark it. So here's what's cool too. So you see a little bit of Silvestri in here. And then it starts to get a little Keown-ish. And look at this rendering here. This is super Dale Keown in here.
Yeah.
And then look over here. We start to get into Silvestri, like straw hatching.
Yeah.
So like Joe had this really cool way of like melding the things he'd learned from the pencilers he'd worked on.
Keown, though, that fucking like hatching around the little shapes and forms and striations that he'd put into all the muscles was always so fucking nuts to me. That like I think it's the late darkness stuff, like the later shit he did with the darkness. I don't know if he did anything after it. It was like, I want to say like mid 2000s. I feel like I was like a junior in high school or something.
Yeah, you know what? I have.
There's like a scene I can remember vividly. I think it's on like a train platform or something, and he looks over and everybody's fucking dead. I can't remember what issue it is exactly. My scrambled eggs brain.
Hold on, I got something that might jar your memory. So the Darkness issue 3. This is his latest or last Darkness interior art, Dale. And he was doing flashbacks in an issue that Michael Broussard was penciling the rest of. Was that it? I think there was something like the train station in here. Or are you thinking back to his, like when he was doing, doing the series? Because this would have been 2008, 2007, 2008, something like that. Look at that.
I feel like that was what I was thinking of.
That's so rad.
Let me see. Sorry, I'm on a different page for a second. Yeah. I need an inker who will make me look like that. That guy, so please.
He does the best little figures too.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember issues well, but you know what I'm talking about, where he would see people like all decayed and gross. He looks over at a guy on like a train platform and he's missing like half his face, if I remember it correctly.
I think that's old. I think that's the original series.
If that's his old shit, that's bonkers, dude.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, he was
didn't he
good coming off the Hulk.
Didn't he do covers for that Berserker book for Top Cow too? The one that I was like, this is the Keanu Reeves book that was coming out.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he did, if I remember correctly.
He did something recently.
How do you spell his last name again? It's like Keneown or some shit, right?
It's Keown.
Yeah.
Keown.
Yeah. Why can't I find this? If that's the even older shit, man, that's insane. Of course, Heritage owns it. We do a bunch of work with them at my day job, so it's like hilarious seeing that they just have their fucking hand in like all comic book art all the time. I tell Beth's dad constantly, I'm like, let me know anytime you come across any pages. Like, I'll let you know what's good. Like, so every time Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you ever come across my Spawn pages. They didn't give any of mine back.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Whiny, whiny, whiny.
You gotta go kick in the door and kick in some dicks.
I had my fights about it already.
Yeah, like I remember this issue. Volume 2, issue 5. What year? Paul Jenkins and Dale.
99.
Is it really that fucking old?
I'm guessing. I'm trying to remember. I'm horrible with dates in the middle of the night.
I was like, I don't own these books anymore either. This is wildly interesting.
You might dig this too. We'll change it up. I whipped these out over on Jimmy's show the other night. This is Silvestri pencils with Winn's ink on X-Men Messiah Complex.
I gotta look up what fucking issues Dale worked on. Yeah, that's also ridiculous. That's a fucking great Wolverine.
I think he did some at the tail end of Volume 1. And then I think he started Volume 2 and did most of like maybe 11 to 13 issues. And probably not even consistent. There's probably a fill-in issue here and there. But it should be kind of easy. I'm not going to type it up. I'm leaving you to do that.
God, dude, my brain does not... Don't drink, kids.
Or do.
Yeah, or do, I guess, maybe. Fuck it.
Don't do anything Spencer tells you.
Yeah. Whatever I say, do the opposite. I want to do a whole book that's just tiny panels.
Just tiny Wolverines. It's a good headshot. Let's see. Let's get the headshot in there. Where is it? There we go. Bam.
So would that have been the first series? Fucking hey, dude. I don't know what's going on. When did you say you thought he started off on it?
I believe he started off on Volume 1. Here, I'm going to go dig into.
I can't seem to be finding any listing on it.
Let's see. So, yeah, he did number 1 on Volume 2. Yeah, it looks... yeah, maybe we should do an episode where I pull out all those issues and we look at them.
I would be very for that. I need to get like the omnibus or something, I guess. Like,
I'm gonna try to get Joe on because Joe's got Xeroxes of everything, and he's got even a couple originals still from the Hulk the End that he did over Dale, and those are insane. Those are so good.
Yeah, a lot of this was like stuff I got when I was really young and around like, I want to say 16, 17 years old when I was still living with my mom. I lived in the basement and a fucking pipe burst in the winter and ruined my comic collection. So like all my floppies and shit of stuff like this, I just never really replaced. I've just been like picking up trade paperbacks over the years, but that like defeated collector Spencer way early on.
That'll do it. Stuff like that. That happened with my tape deck collection when I was in high school.
And
I had this rare cassette collection, and it flew off a car because someone had told me they packed it and they didn't. My own fault for not double checking, but I never got any of those back. You know, the thrill was gone.
Same sort of thing though. Like it was at an age where it was like I still had to bust my ass for any money I got, and like it was like the comics I got every year were comics like I worked my ass off for, essentially. And then it was just like I got to watch it all like melt in front of me because of shitty New England weather. So I think it was the 2002 run.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The thing I'm showing right now, by the way, is Mark Silvestri pencils from the Darkness Batman crossover. Look at this framing with the black. We're in the alley. The camera's in the alley. It frames the shot. She's in silhouette as well, leaving your eye to move past these black shapes and notice the restaurant. So great. So simple.
Yeah, it's the 2002 run. I don't know why I couldn't remember this. So I was 12 when that actually came out. Yeah, that's kick-ass. Holy shit.
Some good Silvestri fist.
Everything has an angle. Oh, Metatron's Cube. What's up, man? That face looks a little weird.
It's a little wonky, huh?
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, it's a little
that
rushed.
That's how I draw a face.
Yeah, you know what? So what I think happened here is, first of all, rushed, deadline. I think he drew it at this angle.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened.
I think he did this and didn't do this enough.
Too forward.
Yeah, because he was notorious. Like when I was at the studio, he would mirror his work. Like he had a giant circular mirror on his table, and he would constantly be holding his page up and looking at it in the mirror. So this, I think, yeah, it was drawn like this. Deadline, matter deadline. This looked badass. You know, the double pager, that works. So once you nail that, you can bust that face out and just move on.
Fucking smush a face a little. Yeah, that's my whole thing too. I can't quite tell. Like it almost, is it him landing on the ground? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So what's happened here? He's Batman, and then he spawn capes here. He goes from Batman to spawn cape and like hits this dude.
Like coiling ends.
And then that's like them landing, I guess, on the ground.
I was going to say, you could almost, if that dude wasn't there, you could almost say, you know, that's like his cheek pressing against the ground as he hits it. But he's coming in there fucking hot, dude. That'd be a broken Batman.
No, Batman, please. Please. Is that your Batarang?
You're going to take it.
I call it the crowbar special. I miss Robin.
Why do you want to fill me? I miss Robin.
That's so lonely.
Be quiet.
It sounds sweet, but it's really dark. This kind of stuff is cool too. The handwritten notes from Mark match the front of the restaurant from panel 1, just like little notes for the inker and the colors to make sure they get like things like the interiors of the and technical things consistent. Let's see what else we got.
So I gotta find the 2002 run of The Darkness. Yeah, it had like Nazi shit in it. It was like the best version of the Italian mobsters. Like, not that the early stuff wasn't great. Like, I love Silvestri. But damn, dude, this one.
The Jenkins story had the Jenny stuff was here. I need to wipe.
Oh yeah, the Jenkins
Jenny
story
stuff was heartbreaking.
They basically used all of that for the games. Like,
that's right.
I feel like the early stuff didn't even get touched for the games. Like this shit. Oh my god, dude! That opening scene with him killing all the mobsters in the first issue, or it's the closing scene, I think, actually. I'd be lying if that wasn't a huge inspiration to Voidwalker. I fucking love the darkness. Oh, is that Hunter Killer?
Nah, it's Cable.
Okay.
Yeah, he had that deal going on where Top Cow guys were doing a bunch of Marvel covers.
I thought for a second that was fucking the pretty blonde dickhead from Hunter Killer. I cannot think of his name now.
Oh, you want Hunter Killer, you say? I happen to.
Yeah, I want all the Hunter Killer. I couldn't find my fucking book. I have the first volume omnibus of that from ages ago, and that was the first book I pulled out and was looking through again and was like, man, I love this book. And I'm looking through it, and Ryan's name is just on every other issue. It's like, what the fuck?
You're like, this is that idiot that DMs me all the time about stupid shit.
I've been talking to him forever, and I'm just like, you're the inker on one of my favorite books, and I'm sorry I'm an idiot. I miss Cyberforce too. I just miss when Top Cow and all the Image dudes were just doing weird shit that they wanted to do. I guess I'm just one of those idiots that likes all the balls to the wall muscle era shit. I just think it can be done again in interesting ways again and doesn't have to just be muscly stuff with no real substance to it.
No. It's got to be super muscly, no story.
Well, yeah, that's because you're an artist. I'm a writer. It's could you imagine if Claremont was on board and doing all that shit? There's a lot of Image issues early on where they got great writers to do stuff, but it's kind of hard to really build any traction when you're just writing a random issue here and there. But damn, man. I think it might just be nostalgia glasses, but I love this fucking era of comics.
Everyone was trying to kick ass too.
Yeah, it just looks like everybody was trying to put everybody else out of business. And on cocaine. We gotta do blow to hit this deadline and make this shit look as cool as possible.
There was some of that.
Yeah. In everything. I
was just stoked when I went to work at Winn Studio, and it was the second day, and he was like, all right, go in the kitchen under the sink and put some fresh water in the bong. I was like, all right.
Checking out Kevin. You keeping it nice and loose, baby girl?
Oh, you know it, dude.
Hell yeah.
We just did this fence.
Oh, man. Dude. You are so fast.
Remember when you were young and you were like, I can't wait to draw fences, man. It's going to be so rad.
It's going to be so cool.
I was like, man, one of these days I'm going to learn how to not draw boobs weird.
Boobs are tough.
Oh, dude, I draw boobs like I've never seen them in my life, and I've seen plenty.
No, that's why if I have a female character, I'm like, armor plating it is, huh? All right.
I'd put money down that blind men can draw boobs better than I can.
Well, there's a stream for you.
Yeah, I'll hire blind men to come on and draw boobs with me.
With you describing them to them. You're like, no, rounder.
Yeah.
More banana
More
shape.
nip.
Imagine it's the only thing you've ever wanted to see and then draw it. Yeah.
So how long is the story that you guys are working on? This is from Kevin.
20 pages.
Good question.
I like how the artist had a nice, confident answer, and the writer was like, "Ah."
We're working on it. TBD.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's got a cover.
I understand these trying times.
If I had my way, everything would be super long because I'm an idiot. But that's kind of adverse to what the whole point of this was, which was to do something short and fun. And Kevin to be able to do it and keep it loose and do it all digital, almost like a challenge to himself. But there's a lot of stupid little shit I want to fit into this because it's a fun little story. It's almost more like a poem that's just been stuck in my head forever. And we were like, want to do a little short for Halloween? And then I was like, I could get this fucking thing out of my head. And Kevin was like, yeah, why not?
I just want to rhyme, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spencer
I
rapped.
slam poetry with my bros.
Spencer rapped the story to me the first time I heard it.
Oh, dude, that's dope. Dude, that's like the freshest way to tell a script.
Yeah, that's how you really sink a pitch in with an artist, guys. You gotta flow. Hustle and flow.
Oh,
just
I was thinking that same thing, Razmaz. Yeah, I was thinking that same joke. That's so funny.
We get like, all right, so what? We need one blind guy, me, that's 2 spots filled up. We get 8 boob experts in to describe boobs to the blind guy, and then he's got to take me head on in a boob drawing challenge.
Where now, what's a boob expert? Is that just one of those guys that wears that FBI shirt that's like federal boob inspector?
He's got to be a dad. He's got to have some sort of leather braided belt in which he has a cell phone holster. He's wearing denim shorts, probably some socks and sandals.
A leather braided belt is a very specific type of man.
Oh, dude.
He is a very specific type of man. Yeah.
What was that noise?
What?
Nothing.
Are we having a Zoom horror movie start?
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm tubing.
Oh, no.
Whoa, I can't help it.
That's
tubing.
That was his save. Is whoa, I can't help it.
Yeah. Like, that would have been hilarious. He just to play it off like, what happened to my clothes? Like, why can't I stop touching my penis?
God, dude.
No, he should have owned it. He should have been like, "This is for all of you.
Yeah, this is for
freedom,
you, my friends and coworkers."
Let's be honest, we're all a little stressed out lately.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm 100% stress-free.
He stands up, disrobes, and jerks off on stream.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest. I actually do draw in my underwear. Like, basically, as soon as I come home, I literally will out loud yell, "No pants time," and then I just like drop my pants, and then I just go about my day. And so at one point, I did stand up, fix like my sweats, and I was like, "Oh, good, I have sweats on," because it's actually really cold here. So I was like, "Oh, good thing I didn't stand up and just like was in my underwear." So,
you guys remember whitey tighties?
Yeah, no, I actually wear a thong. It's a thong.
Nice,
and it's see through. It's like that plastic. I basically look like I'm out of Blade Runner.
Well, hey, when you're packing heat these days, they make you wear like the clear backpacks and stuff. So if you're packing heat down there, you got to wear the clear underwear to make sure it's not going to hurt anybody.
It steams up real quick.
I hear if you don't, they make you tie it in a knot.
Yeah.
Oh. That's sad.
Like a clown balloon.
I mean, unless you're doing it on stage for money like those guys did. All right. So do we get a teaser or anything about this story? And is it called Benny's Bar?
It's called The Beast Behind Benny's.
The Beast Behind Benny's. All right.
Yes.
And the beast is the hanging dong in the background.
Yeah, the yeast behind Benny's. It's about a fucking delicious loaf of the yeast infection Benny's. It's about a delicious loaf of sourdough found behind an old dive bar. No, it's a little short story about a bunch of alcoholics sharing a local legend of a monster believed to eat drunks behind the old dive bar. And it's sort of a late night at closing time at Benny's little isolated story.
That's cool. You always come up with these scenarios that as soon as I imagine myself in it, I'm like, this sucks. Like if I'm one of the characters, I'm like,
Yeah, it's a bunch of shitty bar guys, and it's essentially like the regulars at the bar going through their nightly routine, leading up to closing time and just after.
Are we going to get a bunch of cool kills in this? Is it that kind of book, or is it more of a like what you don't see kind of horror?
A little bit of both, I think.
Cool.
There is going to be some payoff because I think me and Kevin are both very much into that. I think we both appreciate the slow burn horror and stuff, and the stuff that leaves it up to the imagination. But with comics, why not pay off with some cool fucking monster design at the end?
Awesome. Well, especially you got Kevin working it. That's
it's like a cop out in comics when you do a horror comic and then nothing happens. It's just like talking about spooky stuff and a lot of like really like it's cool. You set up some great atmosphere and like you can do cool coloring and stuff, but when you build up and then it's just like there's kind of a shape in that shadow over there. Like I don't think that translates as well as it does in movies and stuff like that.
It's like I literally just watched The Ritual with my wife, and I was like, oh yeah, they like never really show it, but they show a
glimpse of them.
No, they show it quite a bit. I was very shocked, and I was like, oh, they show way more of that creature than I remembered. But no, I thought that was kind of cool because it's like the parts where they don't show much of it, those are probably the really, really cool parts for me. And I think what's kind of neat is the parts where you do see more of it, like it's not in full frame. So for the most part, like when you see it in full frame, it's still lit to where there's little bits and pieces of darkness. So I think it's cool because you kind of have to piece it all together in your head, even though you're seeing quite a bit of it. I was watching again.
What I mean, though, you never. I mean, you see. I think at the end there's like the full frame shot where you get like a silhouette of it and a little bit of detail when everything's burning. But like you see it
a shit ton after that, though. It's like running alongside the guy. Yeah, dude.
All I remember is like you were saying, you would see like a little section of it with like the arms and shit, or like part of the top of it where it almost looked like it had like a face or something. And
yeah,
I think segments of it. And like early on, you would see it through the trees, and it was like, is that the arms of a tree or is that fucking thing prowling around?
My favorite shot though in that movie is still when the guy like has the whatever gun he finds. And he's like walking out and he like shoots a dude. And then basically there's another guy with like an old axe and he's like, put it down. And the guy's not looking at him, but he's like yelling at him to put it down. And then he drops it. And the guy just like backs. I don't remember exactly what happens there. But then the main character like looks out the door and then you see like a girl's legs and then they just fall. And then it's like the hand of the thing like grabs the top of the doorway and like kind of pulls itself down to look in there, but you don't see it fully. You just see its like weird arm things, and it's such a fucking creepy shot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that one. And then just the shot of the guy going to like the top of the ridge to see if you can see anything, and that's where you see it's like that kind of steady shot of just all the trees, and then there's like the hand there, but you don't see it. You don't see it until it like moves and kind of like goes around the tree.
Yeah.
That dude, just it sticks with me. That part is just so fucking cool. But yeah, dude, watch it again. I was actually really surprised to be like, oh yeah, they don't show it that much. They show it much more than you think.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I was like torn between Benny's and this other one that I had that was like Benny's. I had a lot more fleshed out than just like an idea. The other one was just called Search Party, and the whole idea was like there's these missing children in town, and all these people go out. There's literally just forming a search party, and they go out just as like the sun's going down, and they end up encountering the monster that's been eating all these kids, and it was just going to be a quick, isolated gore fest. And it's like I think Benny's is a little bit more to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always a little bit more fun too. Plus, like, I mean, I've been writing stuff for like Grit, just a little like not even backstory, but just like because I love that character of Barrow so much that I was like, I want to write little stuff that like I think is funny. But one of them was basically it's Barrow like in a bar with a dude, and he's just like drinking with him, and essentially my like mold for the character that Barrow's drinking with was Kenneth. When Kenneth from 30 Rock, when basically Jenna and Tracy have to like sit and get their faces molded, where he's like people say you need a piece of old Gus to catch old Gus, but that just makes you think, where did they get the first piece of old Gus? In the like, I was just thinking, it's like it's a rube basically. Like he's a dumb idiot, and he's just talking to this like grizzled monster hunter, and so Bear's kind of like whatever, but the guy would end up being like, yeah, so like there's this coin, right? And you need this and like all this other stuff. So Barrow kind of shines him on or whatever, and then eventually, takes the coin or whatever. But it would be like 2 hours later, and then it's just Barrow like leaving the bar, just hammered. And like looking like left, like looking right, and it's like either side of like this shitty town or whatever that he's in. And then he looks like straight ahead, and it's like the forest, and then he's like, yeah. And so he just starts walking through the forest, and basically as he's like walking, there's like this crazy like rumbling and stuff like that. Because in Grit, obviously there's like the blood demon that gets summoned, and I was like, there's got to be like an other aspect to that. Like Brian wrote some stuff as far as like where that thing was from, which is kind of cool. But I was like, there's got to be other aspects to that like world, that it's not just like, oh, it's just blood demons and witches and that's it. So he basically ends up meeting like this gigantic like forest god, and essentially like Barrow kind of calls back to when he's talking to the idiot, and he pulls out like the coin, and then the like forest god kind of like bows or whatever. Basically is just like, oh, like you're a worthy person or whatever, and essentially it's gonna like grant him like a wish. And so like Barrow like thinks about it, and he was originally supposed to get lost in the forest. I forgot to say that. But essentially you're like, oh, he's going to basically wish that he's home already, or that he has directions or whatever. But then it just cuts to him just walking through the forest with a beer. That's all he wishes for. Like he just wasted that coin on a beer. But yeah, I was just like, that'd be a funny way to show it. There is like somewhat like a good spirits within the forest, and also like Barrow is just very stubborn and just doesn't really care about a lot of that stuff.
That's excellent.
And what is this for?
So that was a random short that I started like writing and never finished, but for it would tie into the book that I did, Grit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has the book out with Scout Comics. Yeah.
How many issues is that?
3.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, we are doing more. So there's like other stories from other artists. Simon is totally doing a story, and dude, I fucking love his artwork.
That is kick ass.
Yeah, I was stoked on that.
I desperately need to go to the bathroom.
Do it.
Hey,
Just go Pepe.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys to entertain everybody for now.
No problem.
I think you only got a little bit longer, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I should probably go to bed pretty soon, but
You gotta be a sleepy boy.
I'm gonna be a sleepy boy.
I was hoping you would somehow finish that cover because I'm wide awake and I want to color that shit. But
Here's a sketch page that. Look at the Superman that I drew.
Whoa.
dude, DC's gonna be calling you tomorrow.
It's a good Wolverine.
That's a great little Wolverine.
My
Zoom in
wife
again.
drew
Let's see.
this.
Let me see more. Let me see some more in here. What you got going on?
My wife drew that.
That's
Hey,
terrifying.
guy.
That's like the dog from the thing. You should make that a sticker, Kevin.
It'll just say the dog from the thing. It'll have that.
I just tried
So
to point at
people
your
know.
screen like I could point at something and you'd see me pointing at the screen.
Nope.
Was that the
Doesn't
Joker that was up by Batman?
The Riddler.
Oh, the Riddler. I see that now.
Ah.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to see.
Some sort of prism girl with a 6-shooter.
I love that Batman. I need a piss. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, get out of here, Spencer.
Yeah, I love your style. You got this great like hair and Mobius thing going on, but it doesn't look like either one of them. It's just like I don't know. I love it. that's fantastic
This
and
is a 2-man
repulsing.
condom.
You're like, I mean, it makes sense. Let's see that truck. Let's see that truck.
Oh, that was one I did for my dad.
Oh, that's fantastic, dude.
I like had a picture of his truck, so I don't think it was like too impressive. Like I didn't really freehand, like I had the reference and everything, so I really got to kind of like cherry pick. But yeah, that's
well, I mean,
a truck.
the colors and that kind of texture work is what caught my eye on it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was my first time kind of doing a lot of that stuff, so I was like, I think a lot of it looks really sloppy and terrible. But no, that's a truck that he drove as a teenager. But before he even had his license, he would drive that around, and he's had it. I mean, since then, and now he's in his 60s, and I mean it's still in our backyard, which is really cool.
Now, so you say sloppy, but that fender that you zoomed in on, if you ever get the chance to see like Norman Rockwell paintings, especially from the 50s in person, they are crazy, abstract, awesome, loose, almost impressionistic things that he then just does like a couple hard lines and a couple highlights, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's realism, and you're like, not really. It's true illustration.
No, and that's one that like I feel like I'm always trying to get to that point where it's like you see people with like a brush and it's kind of they just splotch it, but you're like, oh, that's like a bunch of leaves in a tree. Like it's looks realistic, but it like you're saying it's got that impressionistic kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons he was considered an illustrator and not actually a painter.
I mean, it makes sense.
They didn't let him into like painting societies and stuff.
Which is insane. It's like, why?
I mean, we were still dealing, like, I mean, as a society or whatever, we were still dealing with like art as these weird institutes that like, you know, the 50s and 60s, it kind of just finally broke that, you know, like the Impressionists started breaking it. The pre-Raphaelites kind of continued that on in a smaller sense. And then everyone after that, it was just like once paints and things and tools became so mass available to everyone. It was kind of like the internet for artists. It was like, you don't have to be this fancy schmancy person to have a person make your paint for you.
Yeah.
So that you can paint. It's like, no, you can just go to the store, work a couple hours at the restaurant, go to the store, get a tube of paint, start painting, man.
Which is crazy because I always like forget that, and I always think of my good friend Curry, where he will specifically try and find books of like kind of like old, I guess, like teachers, but how they would do stuff and how they would teach their students, where it's like, oh, you have to do this many hours of this day of drawing these shapes and doing this stuff. And I'm always like, why? But it's very much like this. I think he has this mindset. He's also very fit. So it's just like this insane mindset of like, well, I'm going to lift like 100 pounds 100 times today, where that's what he feels like he has to do with his art. And I'm like, I'm all for that. But at the same time, like, for me, it's like, just have fun with it. Like, and like you're saying, before people had to do this, so it's this intense schooling that you had to do, and you had to train under people, and you could get cut from the class or like whatever. Whereas when there was that explosion of materials readily available, people were like, oh yeah, give them to kids and see what kids do.
Oh yeah. Like no, there's certain things like, I mean, I guess it depends on your artistic goal too. Like I tend to be more like on when I'm inking others, or when I was doing like superhero inks, that kind of stuff, which is totally different than how I ink myself.
Mhm.
When I teach that kind of stuff, that stuff is kind of like, you don't have to have, there's no like set hours. I would never be like, you have to do it for this many hours a day. But like that kind of stuff, you do have to be really repetitive about. Like it's like
Yeah.
a boring craft part. But a lot of people don't realize, like, it kind of depends like what your style is, and man, I see so many people get caught up trying to fight style and stuff like that. And I did the same thing for a long time. Once I realized I was a brush inker, and I was like, no, I like big, fat, bold lines. I do clean and confident inks, but I don't hold myself to it. When the brush starts to go dry, that's just how the line turns out. Like I have this sort of like, oh no, I go for clean, but I don't know, if it doesn't come out clean, that's how it came out. Like I try to have this like jazz approach to it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a skill in itself, is kind of like going with the flow, because a lot of people, like you're saying, they'll fight it, and you're gonna have such a harder time doing that. Like it's insane. I think.
You don't say.
I mean, how much people I think try to fight stuff, and it's just like, no, dude. Like, you're gonna have a much better time in life if you're just like, yeah, dude. Like, fuck, that may have been shitty. It made it come out a little bit weird, but maybe I can do something else to fix it, or as opposed to just starting completely over. It's like, just go with it, figure it out.
Yeah, it was a good practice. Like it's too bad it doesn't happen more, but like artist apprenticing for other artists, like, because when I would go in to work with somebody new, I would just sort of like adopt their mentality, whether I liked it or agreed with it or not. I was just like, okay, let's try this out and see, why do they think this way? Why do they work this way? This or that. And I totally just brain farted on where I was going with that.
Yeah, no worries.
Apprenticing.
But yeah, but I don't know. It was going to be something super wise, I'm sure. It's going to impart all this wisdom. Sure. I don't know, but you do. Yeah, see, it'll come back to me. Kevin, you got to take over.
Okay.
I'm flailing here.
Spencer, I wanted to show you this page though, because this is like when I first got Procreate, and I was like, oh, I'll just use the paintbrush to try and figure out how to learn a bunch of stuff. This is new, but that was like old. And I was like, I want to do something like this in a comic, and I was like, that would take way too fucking long. So maybe you'll see something like that.
Dude, gray tones? Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's just really fun to fuck around with that stuff.
That was like what I fucked around with early on when I was learning how to color shit.
Yeah, I feel like this has helped me learn coloring immensely, because I'm a big idiot when it comes to coloring. And I remember when I told you, I was like, oh yeah, like palettes. There's palettes preloaded into this this machine thingy. And you were like, yeah, you big idiot. Like, of course there is. But I was like, I don't know. I've never messed around with this stuff.
I need to figure out a cover for Camp Rainbow. And Ryan's going to ink me on it.
That's right. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun and stressful at the same time.
No, didn't you hear what Kevin just said?
Yeah, I know. I'm doing everything wrong.
Now you because Kevin said it, you have to do it. So
yeah,
you got to just have fun with it.
Dude, I got you right here. Okay, so what's it called again?
And then when you're done there, I remembered the wise thing I was going to
I got you. So what's it called again?
Was that it?
Yep, that's it.
What were you gonna say, Ryan?
It was a good exercise for me to adopt different artists' mentalities. Like with Joe, it was like, no whiteout. We got to do every stroke has to be perfect, and we were meticulous in this way. But it wouldn't have been good for me to like hold on to all of those. You know, like So, and I think that's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I learned this technique, and they do it, and they're like, okay, well, I have to do this for 5 or 10 years, and you're like, no, just try it out, see if it works for you. Like, none of this stuff is like actual rules that you have to follow, you know?
It even then, I think that was something that took me a while to do, but my good buddy Jeff, he's the one that was like, you got to learn how to do that, is even like with your comic pages, it's like you're doing 22 of them. There's some that you may not be 100% happy with, where like, well, it's just this one little thing. You could sit there and draw like a nose over and over again. But it's like, no, you got to learn to let that stuff go. like you're saying, there's certain techniques that you learn and you're like, I love this, but maybe it doesn't work that well for you. But you know, hopefully you learn something from it. And yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think like my mom always asks me, she's like, so what do you like think when you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's literally at this point become such like muscle memory, and that's the point. Like that's where you want to get. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I'm constantly thinking that, okay, this needs to be here, this needs to be here because this is my style and this is this. It's like, no, just let it somewhat flow naturally. Obviously you still have those little rules in your head that you're following, but I think it's just like you gotta let those juices flow, and then kind of.
What if your natural style is to do everything in a close-up?
Dude, I got you. Hold on.
That's my fucking problem with everything.
Oh wait, that's too big.
Like, nope, I did this too close.
Actually, let's go over here to this trash can. This one's your Spencer here.
Booyah.
There it is, classing up the joint.
Yeah. It's funny too because you're like looking at the cover, and then you're like,
only the 7 people in this stream will know about that hidden dong, which has basically become like a signature in my comic books inadvertently.
Excellent.
Demon Penis and Voidwalker was a huge hit, which was unexpected. This is the talk of town when issue 2 dropped.
God, dude.
It was like in one panel for like a brief moment. It's like half in shadow, and it was like, I guess just dicks in comics are always a hot topic. Like,
was that it? Oh, excuse me. Was that in the script?
To an extent. I never really went with
5 of the inches were, the rest.
Yeah,
Christian
right.
added on.
Christian was generous. No, it was never really like explained as like phallic or anything. But we talked a lot about different inspirations for the monsters in Voidwalker, which I'm not going to elaborate on now, but they're not demons. Everybody just thinks that's hell, and it's not. I'm not going to get any further into that, but that's what the ongoing's about.
People are so ignorant.
Yeah, geez, guys, it's not all about demons. No, but like we talked about a bunch of, there's obviously a lot of H.R. Giger influence in there. We went through just like every person that's ever worked on like anything Guyver, because that's a huge inspiration on Voidwalker as well. The Darkness, some like Japanese demonry and stuff like that, which sort of comes into play with the Guyver concept art. Me and Kevin actually talked about this the other night. There's like a big book on it and stuff, but
so they're not demons?
There's some like phallic and always sort of like sexual bits mixed into a lot of that design work. And it's sort of like this weird grotesqueness of like almost like Hellraiser. Like it's things you should be attracted to, but they're distorted in like horrid ways. And
So it is hell?
Christian just slipped in like a gnarly demon dong has been how it's been explained by Pete, I think, for the most part. This was like a hashtag demon dong going around for a little while. That was a little weird, but
It's apt.
yeah, people are into it. Yeah, xenomorphs are definitely, I mean, especially like the fractured Absalom at the beginning of the series, big xenomorph vibes, and that was all Christian just running wild. I basically was like, have fun with it because we're gonna have so much monster stuff going on once we get going, and that version of Absalom was such a small part of the story early on.
Can you show us something cool? Oh, sorry.
Can I show you something cool? No, I don't do cool things.
What about if it's from issue 4? Like something non-spoilery that you can show us that maybe some of us haven't seen that haven't gotten the issue yet.
I'll just show you the final pages.
Something non-spoilery. I'm just dying to see something.
The whole
It just zooms in on issue 4 where it just says the end. You're like, that's it, guys.
Oh man, it ends? I didn't want a spoiler, Kevin. That's the whole thing.
I'm so sorry.
Jeez. It's fair. I wasn't listening to you earlier when you were like, look at this page I'm drawing. And I was like, who drew that?
I liked your impression of your own voice.
Yeah,
I practice.
See. I'm trying to think
in front of the mirror. This is how I'm going to sound today.
Hey, guys.
Wait, are we talking to like a T1000 version of Ryan Winn?
I don't know if everyone here is up to date on what they've read.
A Voidwalker?
Trying to see what pages aren't spoilery.
Is everything just spoilers?
Oh,
Gotcha.
dude, it's 23 pages long. This one, it's an odd one. Everything's pretty fucking spoilery. Okay, so let's see.
Don't show it, but explain it to us.
Page 1,
yes,
page 9.
We're the blind artists that are going to eventually draw your boobs.
Yeah,
Captain
America
explain
shows
your page to us.
I can show page 1, page 9, page 10. Let me write this down real quick.
I guess he's just going to show us, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Yeah, Metatron's Cube says page 1. Is page 1 that spoilery? It's tough, especially if it's a character thing, because you're like, no, I can't tell you if there's a character in this or not. You'll know if they lived from the last issue or something.
Yeah, so it's the big final fight with the villain and everything is the main spine of this final issue. I
guess we should have just said whip out the Demon Dong pages.
There's like some big stuff that happens in this one too, so it's like I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 pages I can show you guys.
Even if you got the cover without the treatment. I haven't seen that yet. I've only seen the cover with the logo.
So I can show you. Does it say what page it is on here?
Uh-oh, he's going to accidentally... His Tubin move is going to be, the last page. He's going to spoil it with some... accidentally show some... You're like, that's the last page!
Show the media.
Turns out the void was in him all along.
He was walking alongside the void this whole time. I don't know what that means, but...
Okay. There we go. So share screen.
Whoa, just the colors. Jeez.
Not sure how good that's working. So that is Sergeant Stoker, who we named after Clint.
Oh, that's funny. Is he a Ninja Turtle fan? Is that why?
Samedi Club in the background.
Oh, no way.
Psycho K.
Psycho. That's great. Yeah, I love doing like putting your own signage in and stuff like that. Oh, that's a rad shot.
Then I have to stop sharing. So that's page 1. And then I think page 9 is safe to show. The subplot. Yeah, here, I'll show this little sequence. I think 8, 9, and 10 are good. Yeah, Christian fucking went all out. That's why I was like, there's certain things I don't want you guys to see till you have it in hand, because Christian just fucking absolutely killed it. This is where we pick back up with Stoker and his crew. The Ransom City SWAT team showing up to respond to all of the weird shit that's been going on throughout the night. And if you actually notice here, this is really appropriate, this page, because spray painted on the wall.
Demon Dong. Nice.
Excellent. I'll be right back.
What's KDR? Oh, Trespasser. I see the Trespasser Easter egg.
Good question. KDR. L7. Christian,
the band L7?
Shit, I don't even know. Right. It's a deep cut.
Damn. We'll have to get him to do a commentary after everyone reads it.
Right. This is Stoker and them are coming in on like the responding call for all the crazy shit that's been happening here. There's been gunshots, weird noises, strange lights and stuff, and they're finally responding to it in full force. Some cruisers had showed up beforehand, and things start getting weird.
His color palette is it's just so pleasing to the eye. Like whether it's a horror moment or like a peaceful moment, it's so cool looking.
It's insane. Like, I love Trespasser. I picked it up immediately because it was like, man, Christian's work looks killer. I want to work with this dude eventually. I grabbed the book and read it like cover to cover instantaneously and was like, yeah, this dude kicks ass. And it was like,
zoom in that last panel there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine this book with anyone else.
Yeah, look at that. The way like you are holding the gun. Like we're there. That camera, that's so rad. Just puts you right in the scene, man.
He's
so cool.
He's a man.
And that shot with the red eyes, that's so badass. Oh man.
And then gnarly little quick splash with some inserts.
Whoa. Molasses in the eyes, Rasmus says. Exactly. And, I love that like syrupy blood feel.
Yeah. The little hand drawn sound effects from Christian too are amazing. Some of them were in the script, and some of them I was always just like, dude, if you feel the need to punch anything up at any point in time, change things, you always do it. Like, it's your book too. I say the same shit to Kevin all the time. I'm like, this comic would not exist without you guys, and I want you to inject just as much of yourselves in it. Like,
but then Spencer yelled at me for drawing too many penises, so
yeah. I was like, dude, people have to wear pants. Like, it needs to be believable.
I was like, no.
When I
They
said
have
we
to
need
want
make
to see the penis.
Yeah, when I said we need to make a book just for ourselves, I didn't mean a book that would make just us laugh.
Yeah.
The director's cut of Cade, but it's everybody doesn't have pants.
Yeah. No, I remember when you showed me some of these pages, Spencer, and it's so cool. Like, I mean, even without the coloring, you can just see the lighting there and the inks, and it's so good.
Yeah, you can tell he's definitely Eduardo's guy.
It's funny as a younger man, I never really like read anything from Eduardo Riso. I don't think I still have. It's only been like a couple things here and there.
Do you guys want to see one more?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now, I mean, I dig his stuff more because I understand, like more of what's going on behind it. But dude, his stuff is just so cool because it reminds me of this mix of like Eduardo Riso, but a little bit of like Goran Parlov in there too. It's
Hell
just
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so there's that full little sequence.
Oh,
where
that's awesome.
We finally essentially have outside people in the world witnessing the weird shit happening at Bronson's brewery. And
That's so cool.
this is basically
that first panel.
the shit hitting the fan. And yeah, I think it was Metatron was like, I see mouth tentacles. Yep. Yeah, man. So Voidwalker 4 it's actually, I believe, started shipping out this week, so it'll be getting out to you guys soon if you pre-ordered it. If not, go get yourself a copy now. The reprint's coming through that Alterna campaign as well, the Because You Demanded It. But yeah, Voidwalker 4 is easily some of the craziest shit me and Christian have done together. Definitely did a lot of weird stuff in the first 4 issues, and I'm excited to get going with more of it. But issue 4 I'm really proud of, and there's a lot that we didn't show in the other 18 pages.
Excuse me.
And I'm fucking stoked because Cade is also getting out to everyone now, the first issue, and everyone gets to finally see Kevin going absolutely apeshit if you haven't seen his other series, Grit, already. Definitely vastly different from Grit. If you're into fantasy stuff, check Grit out, though, because it's...
I was going to say, do you want to cut back really quick to my screen share?
Hell yeah.
Here's this little sneak preview for you too, Spencer. But dude, it just gets...
I thought it was just going to be dicks.
That's what I was expecting too. I was like, should I look?
Right, you were giggling a lot.
I think you understand what's going on.
I love it.
Yeah, there's... I've been having fun with these, so...
This book is so fucking in the opposite direction of Voidwalker 2, and I love it. Like, I can't remember who it was that asked on one of the Alterna streams, but dang, it's going crazy slow ass printers. Yeah, that's just all the COVID stuff and everything. There's no real controlling that. And I know Pete's been swamped, so it's probably going to be a little bit slow going at first. I think he said there was like up to like almost 1,000 orders when the order finally came in. So he's going to be shipping like a madman for a while. But he can do it. He's a machine. Sorry. Kind of lost my train of thought for a second there. But yeah, Cade is... That's why I like it. It's like we are building sort of like a shared superhero universe overall, but it's not just like everything's the same like baseline like Marvel and DC sort of are. Like they always have this like weird foundation they fall back to, and there's like not much that crosses those lines usually. As like I like that everything sort of stands on its own and has its own feel to it.
Yeah, like I think the main thing connecting all of them is that all the main characters are Christian.
Yeah.
Just one name for everybody?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Like
all-
they're religious and they all follow.
No, I know. I'm not that dumb.
that's how
I'm
we
dumb.
claim.
Come on.
That's how we claim we're a Christian comics group for so long, is because all of our characters are named
They're
Christian.
actually named Christian.
Yeah, duh. Hey, we're all baptized here, right?
Again, I brought it up twice before, I think 3 times now. But again, a game that you play that by the end of it, you just convert to Christianity is really funny to me.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You witness in-game miracles.
It's Call of Duty, but for Jesus instead of war.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus instead of enlisting in the Marines.
Yeah, you enlist in the army of Christ.
I'm like, I don't know why, but I want to go to war now.
Jihad with
why.
Jesus. Wait, no, that title does not work.
I want to repent now. What would that game be?
See, I don't know. That's the whole thing, is you got to witness in-game miracles, first of all.
While also being a door-to-door Bible salesman.
I also like to imagine, though, like once you beat the game, like people rush into your house and like forcefully baptize you.
You have to think about shit when you're writing like that, though, too. Like, if you want your characters to feel real, like Liberator is technically, like, I think probably the only real, like, out and out, like, Christian character in the book, and it doesn't really, like, factor into the character. I would say it's like a part of the character, but not like fucking like Daredevil's religion is so much a part of like that character's story. To where like I feel like if you took out the sort of religious sections of Daredevil, it almost wouldn't even feel like the same comic.
Oh, not at all. It plays in so heavily to the character. Yeah.
Yeah, Liberator's just like he's that all-American dude. Like he has to be Christian. Like,
oh yeah, clearly.
He's also kind of like a cautionary tale. Like we're doing our like Captain America, but it's sort of like him learning to become his own man after all these years. And he's still gonna kick ass, but he's gonna do his own thing. That book's gonna be fun as fuck too. Vince is doing his own Seeker book right now. I don't even know if I should be talking about it. Harass him about
it. All right. You mean not with you, but his own?
It's his own thing as well. It's a side thing that he's just like doing as like I think he's gonna be painting stuff in it as well. I don't know if it's like straight up like illustrative stuff.
Cool.
Because that boy
cool. I've seen him posting those paintings of like his creator-owned characters that he's been experimenting with on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing something, and we got Hellseekers, and just weaving it all together has been an insanely good time. The fact that people want more of it is bonkers to me. God, that's cool as fuck. Ryan, you gonna make me look cool like this?
I'm gonna draw you like my Darkness girls.
Yeah, I'm gonna
one of your Darkness girls.
I'm gonna pencil it in crayon.
Draw me like one of your Image girls.
There you go. That's it. There it is.
Finding out
we can give it this treatment.
Go ahead. I just want something gritty and gnarly. I want you going nuts. I want it to look like it took you like a week to ink it. And not just because my pencils are shitty.
Look at this tubing fist. It's just tubing right at you.
Dude, he's tubing directly at you.
That is busted
like,
right
Darkness
out.
Tube!
That's his move. The Darkness Tube.
Coming straight at you in your Zoom call.
I like when the Top Cow guys did stuff like this, where it's tight but loose. Like it's loose. It's tight in the inks, but it's loose in its abstraction of the fist and how it's lit. Like you can almost even see in my hand right here. It's lit the same way. It's got like this divot there and stuff. It's so cool. Like I don't necessarily draw like that. It's not my style for drawing, but it's a fun visual effect.
You can take something from that. You learn from it. It may not be your style. Exactly like we were talking about earlier.
Every fist has something to teach you.
I love all of this kind of shit, and I'm constantly like, every page needs to be rendered like this or you suck. And I'm like, I know that's not the case, but for some reason with myself, I'm like, it needs to kick the most ass ever. I'm an idiot, though.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, we're all idiots, you know, in some form or another.
Fuck, man. I just need to
that's
start
why
doing
we were
it
all
every
here.
day again. I was never this good, but
This is the Idiots Anonymous Zoom call, right?
Yeah. Maybe we should take it live, guys.
Gonna Zoom you guys every night, because otherwise I'm gonna beat off in front of my colleagues.
For Sparta.
Oh, I'm just tubing. Don't mind me.
Hey, what are you doing tonight? Just playing on tube, and that's about it.
The Apache.
All right. So how about before we go, because I got to wrap it up too, why don't you show us either some Can't Kill Cade stuff or take us over to City of Rot. Show us City of Rot.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Are you laying on your back and you can't do this now?
No, I'm fine.
Just making you work.
So, well, we showed off during the Zaid stream tonight some new City of Rot pages. So we can do that real quick. They're unlettered because they just came in from Jeff. Hefe.
All right.
We'll show that. We'll look at the campaign really quick, and we don't even.
Yeah, Kevin was my favorite artist that I'd met through you until I met Jeff, and I was like, oh wow, Jeff's my favorite.
Damn it!
You guys are gonna have to sword fight in a parking garage.
Oh, dude, we'll sword fight in private if you know what I mean.
The sweet first kill of the gang.
Oh, nice.
And Jeff's
Kill
first
them
motorcycle.
all.
Hell yeah. Jeff's first motorcycle too. Of many.
I was gonna say, does he have to draw a bunch more?
It was his own choosing. I asked him.
I was gonna say, if there's anything I know about like an artist, it's like when they have never drawn some, you know, if they don't really, draw something that much. You want to have a comic where you just draw it nonstop.
Yeah. So this is the fun stuff. This is the stuff we didn't really talk about much in the campaign early on, but Otto mentions in the pages in the campaign that he left a little something in the gas cap for Hank, and it's a sheet of acid. And Jeff surprised me and made it Voidwalker acid.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, Hank dumps gas and torches the place and takes a hit of acid and essentially does the whole cowboy ride off into the sunset. And
dude, those are so good. Is he trying to pay with
basing
acid?
Heavy Hank on you?
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that. No, we based him on Bruiser Brody.
Oh, okay.
A famous old school wrestler.
Was Bruiser Brody based on you?
We're both fans
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
was that?
Was that guy just copying
Are
your
you
style?
Bruiser Brody?
He pulls into the edge of this town that his gang is hiding out in. Contemplates taking some more acid when one of the other supporting characters shows up. A hallucination
Hunter S. Thompson.
of Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm-hmm. I liked it more if he was like trying to pay for gas with a tab of acid, and the guy smacks it out of his hand.
Back to the drawing board. But
That's fucking awesome.
That's
a
not
good
currency,
sequence
you
right
hippie.
it flashes and it's actually a zombie, and he comes out of it, slices the zombie in half, and
Look at that. Look at that Hank face.
that's when we hear some noise coming from afar, and we cut to hear the intro to Darcy, which there's a lot more going on when it's lettered and everything, but Hank sneaks up, grabs a zombie, tosses him out in front of these guys who are essentially about to string up and assault Darcy. And
Yeah, that guy's got a healthy neck.
right? I was saying earlier, this guy's based on me with no hair.
No, he's got the corpse grinder neck.
And this was actually the one, I think it was the first stream we all did together, Ryan. This was the page Jeff was actually working on that day.
Okay, yeah.
The pea-stained underwear. Of course, it zooms in
There
crazy
it
far
is.
now.
That third panel is so good. The silhouettes are perfect.
This guy gets his dick munched on.
Excuse me.
Oh, jeez.
And this is basically where the shit hits the fan and we start getting really crazy. But I don't want to show too much because we'll be lettering it, and I'll show one more actually because this page is fucking kick ass. Maybe a couple more, but I have to jump around after this one. I just forgot how fucking great this page is. Yeah, I love the panel of fucking Hank lunging out of the bushes.
Yeah, that's dope.
Hell yeah, that's great. And this is Jeff's first full comic?
Yep.
Or has he done... Wow. Wow, he's so good.
It's ridiculous. And this
And
shot
his
of
style
Hank
is
down
so consistent. Jeez.
the bottom right panel of Hank with the knife in his hand. So fucking cool. He grabs this guy's gun hand, slams it down into the grass, and it fucking blows the zombie's head off across the way. I wrote that in, and Jeff was like, "Oh fuck, dude, that's ridiculous." I was like, "Yeah, I write shit out," and I was like, "If we need to go over like the blocking, I do it with Kevin all the time too." And Kevin's like, "Oh no, like I like it, like it's like a challenge," and like he goes through it. And Kevin's fucking great with keeping up with my madness, but this was like Jeff's first time having to deal with that, and he was like, "Oh fuck, dude, that's gonna be cool if I can figure that out." Like,
Dude, like there's like that fight in Cade where there's like 5 people against 1 person, and then you're like, yeah, so like this person takes out this person, and this person accidentally shoots this person, and then this person accidentally shoots this person, and I was like, all right. So an easy fix was like, oh yeah, like this. There's, I think, 3 right-handed guys and then 2 left-handed guys, and that's how I kept track of everyone. I was telling that to someone else, and they're like, "That's insane. Why?" And I'm like, "It was easy. It's the easiest way in my mind."
yeah, when you explained that to me, I was like, that makes perfect sense. But like, if I were doing that myself, I would be like, that's insane.
Yeah, they all have specific guns too, which helped.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Metatron, I'll be finishing up letters this week. I've been crazy busy at the day job, so I haven't really had much time. And we're streaming and promoting the book. This is cool though, because it's one of the first big pages with a lot of the gang members essentially rallying. There's lots of little Easter eggs of people in here. I don't know if this one had any. I love this guy though, with the porno stash.
That's dope.
Is that based on you?
Yeah, that one is
character.
Every single
Is
character.
that based on you?
Trying to jump around and find some other ones. Oh, I can't show that. That's a really fucking good one.
I can't show that. That's awesome.
I mean, I could, but I gotta leave
Save some stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff's like, you're showing everything? Come on, man.
No, Jeff's working on like quite possibly one of my favorite parts of it. That's early on in the book. It's essentially the acid scene. And like I haven't even seen it yet. He's just been like teasing me with his description of where he's at with it. And yeah, I'm really stoked for that one. But this will be the last one I'll show for the night. We can wrap it up. This is just another like little circle panel that I really liked what Jeff did with it.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put, just in case anybody's new, I'm going to put one last link for City of Rot in the chat.
Oh, yeah. The links, too, for City of Rot and Hammerella are in the video description, guys. If you're watching now or if you're watching later on, after we are not live anymore, check out those links in the description and back Hammerella and City of Rot if you haven't already.
That's right. And
So
yeah,
dope.
I think we're going to be doing a lot more of this, right, boys?
Yep.
Yes, for sure. Still not
Awesome.
sure on set times or anything like that, but we're definitely going to be getting together more because this is great. And
we'll figure it out. But thanks for having me, and it was good hanging out with you again, Kev.
Yeah, man. As always, it's good to hang out and just BS.
Hell yeah.
okay. Close out of that.
And thank you, chat.
Yeah, thank you guys. Real quick. Making sure I clean everything up here and link to Ryan's. Oh,
Yeah.
that posted on my Twitch as well. I forgot I'm doing the dual stream now, so that's if there's people watching on Twitch, check that out. It posted to Twitch and to YouTube. Perfect. I'm still figuring out this StreamYard stuff.
And it texts to my mother. She's been watching the whole time.
Yeah.
I got a physical fax.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and take it easy.
Good night.